Crossing Borders Language Center in Katy is the best language school. You can learn easy peasy English, Spanish, French, and Mandarin at affordable rates. Call 832-437-9864 today.
Hello, I'm Julia. I'm an ESL teacher at Crossing Borders Language Center in Katy, Texas. And you can probably tell I'm not from Texas. I'm not even from America. I'm from Britain. I'm English. And I thought it would be fun to do a short video about the differences between American English and British English, because even though we speak the same language, there are lots of differences. So there are three main differences actually. And the first one is pronunciation differences. And this is just what gives me my British accent and Americans their American accent. Quite straightforward. For example, the T sound in the middle of a word. So in England, we always pronounce the T sound. We say better, letter, butter. Whereas in America, it's a much softer sound. It sounds more like a D, so letter, better, butter. You have to excuse my really terrible American accent. And we have a similar thing with the letter R, but it's the other way around. So in America, the letter R is always pronounced, whereas in England, we often don't pronounce it, or we have a softer sound. So for example, if you take the word art, when I say it, art, it's an open sound, an R sound. But here in America, they would say art with an sound, art. So, oh no, I've burnt my toast. Burnt in England, but burnt here, the sound is pronounced. And we also have other words which are pronounced completely differently, which creates a lot of fun for my American friends. So for example, these in England would be vitamins, but here they're vitamins. This is my mobile phone, but here mobile, not mobile, mobile phone or cell phone. And we have lots of words like that, like leisure and leisure, for example. In England, we would say privacy, but here it's privacy. So those are pronunciation differences. We also have spelling differences. That's the second one. And these don't even affect how words are pronounced. They're just how they're spelled. So for example, we have words that are spelled with an OU in Britain, but here they're just spelt with an O. So for example, colour and neighbour. So this is the British spelling and this is the American spelling. We also do the same with words that have ER at the end of a word in America. We spell them with an RE. So centre and theatre are examples. Also, we have words that in Britain would end with an S, but here they're spelt with a Z, or in England we would say a Z. For example, socialise would have an S at the end in Britain. So that's the second difference. But where it gets really interesting and can create a lot of confusion is the third difference, and that is vocabulary differences. And this is when we have a completely different word for exactly the same thing. So let me start with one that could cause a lot of embarrassment, and that is the word pants. So here in America, when you say pants, you mean these, which in Britain are called trousers. Because in Britain, when we say pants, we mean these, underpants. So in Britain, if you're running down the street in your pants, that is really not a good look. There are other clothing differences as well. So for example, when my kids came here and had to go to school, they were told they had to wear a red sweatshirt and dark sneakers. And I had no clue what that meant. But fortunately, a friend of mine was able to clarify, and she said that means a red jumper and dark trainers. I also caused confusion at school one day when I was responsible for bringing in party supplies. And I said to the teacher, just hold on a minute, I need to go and get them. They're in my boot. And she looked at me like I was crazy because she thought I meant boot. Now in England or Britain, this is a boot on your foot, but a boot also means the trunk of your car. We don't say trunk, we say boot. So this is a boot, but it's also the trunk of a car in the UK. And a trunk is nothing to do with the car in Britain. It's a big box that looks something like this. So trunk and boot is a common confusion. There are also big differences with food. So when we first arrived in America, we would order a burger and chips, and the waiter or waitress would look at us like, chips with your burger? Because here that means potato chips, which come in a packet. Whereas in England, we would call potato chips crisps, and chips are French fries. So you can see how confusing it would get. In fact, food is very confusing. So entrees and appetizers, what are those in the UK? Those would be main course is your entree, appetizer is a starter. Soda, in Britain, soda is water with bubbles in it. Here it's any fizzy drink. So in Britain, we would call those fizzy drinks. Oh, and if a British person offers you some tea, they mean a hot cup of black tea with milk in it. Not iced tea, not fruit tea, not herbal tea, which here is called herbal, where you don't pronounce the H. So that's some differences. Another very confusing difference between American English and British English is the stories in a building. So what you would call the first floor here in America is called the ground floor in Britain. And our first floor is the American second floor. And our second floor is the American third floor. So that's very confusing. Oh, and by the way, when we go up to those floors, we go up in a lift, not an elevator. I could go on all day. There are so many differences. Tap and faucet, rubbish and trash. So we put our rubbish in a bin. In America, you put your trash in a trash can. Football is another one. When you talk about football here in America, you're talking about American football. But in England, that means soccer. So there are lots and lots of differences. It's taken me a while to learn them, but it's been a lot of fun. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see some of you at my classes someday. Bye-bye, take care.
Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Easy Peasy for more videos, and please share. We love you, Easy Peasy.